Hello, how are you all doing? Hope you're well. Welcome back. Today I'll be showing you how I make my lemon cake. The great thing about this cake is that it's eggless and it's dairy free, which makes it vegan friendly. It's also super easy to make. If you want to know how to bake this cake, please keep watching. For this recipe, you'll need 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, 2 cups of sugar. I'm using granulated sugar, 2 cups of icing sugar, also known as confectioner's sugar, the juice of 2 freshly squeezed lemon. I'm using medium-sized lemon, which is roughly about 50 ml, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder, 1 cup of oil. Here I'm using regular vegetable oil, and 3 cups of flour. 2 cups of dairy-free milk. I'm using almond milk. Here's an overview of the ingredients. To begin, I'm going to sift the flour so as to get rid of any clumps that might be in it. Aha! That's a clump. I'm going to go ahead to sift the baking powder and the baking soda. Now I'm going to combine that and add in the sugar and mix. Next, I'm going to add the lemon zest and combine, and that's the dry ingredients done. Next, I'm going to mix the wet ingredients. This is not in any particular order, but I'm going to start with the oil, then lemon juice. For the lemon juice, I'm adding approximately the juice of 1 lemon, as we'll need the rest of the lemon juice for the lemon glaze when the cake is done. Milk, and combine. Here is my dry ingredient. I'm going to make a well in the middle of it and pour in the wet ingredients and mix. Now look at that creamy consistency. That's what I'm going for. Not too runny or thick. Now I'm going to set that aside and prepare my glassware. This is what I'll be baking my cake in. It's 9 inches in length and 9 inches in width and 2 inches deep. Now I've lined my glassware with parchment paper. I've also brushed the parchment paper with a little bit of oil so as to avoid the cake sticking to the paper, and also to avoid the paper from flying around as it's really windy outside. Here's a closer look. Now I'm going to put the cake in the oven. I've preheated my oven. This step is really important because it helps activate the baking soda and baking powder, thereby making the cake rise properly. I've set it to cook for 30 minutes at 180 degrees. Now the cake is ready. I'm gonna check if it's fully cooked by inserting a chopstick into the cake. You could use a toothpick or a knife with a thin blade. As you can see, the chopstick has come out clean, which means the cake is fully cooked. While the cake is cooling down, I'm gonna make the lemon glaze. For the glaze, I'm using the juice of a lemon which I saved in the beginning. I'll be adding that in bits to my 2 cups of icing sugar and mix till I get the right consistency. If you want a slightly runny glaze, you could add more lemon juice to your icing sugar. Now, this is what the glaze looks like. Now, the cake has completely cooled down. Look at that beautiful golden color. Now, I'm gonna pour the glaze on the cake. I'm gonna use my spoon to spread it. Now that it's evenly spread, I'm gonna leave it on the counter for about 20 minutes for the glaze to set. If you're pressed for time, you could put it in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. The next step is optional. I'm gonna decorate the cake with some edible flowers. I'm going with these yellow flowers which ties in well with the lemony theme. I'm decorating the cake with just the petals, so I'm just gonna pluck a few of the petals and place them on the cake. Now, this is the finished look. I think I was a bit too generous with the glaze, but on the bright side, that means I get to have more glaze on my cake. Now, I'm gonna cut through the cake. I'm using a serrated knife because in my opinion, I think it's the best to use when cutting through cakes. Now look at that. Look how spongy and fluffy the cake looks on the inside. Now it's time for a taste test. Wow, look how spongy and fluffy the cake looks on the inside. That first bite was everything. The cake was super lemony and delicious. I really can't get over how fluffy it is, thanks to the baking powder. This was me at nighttime having some lemon cake and mint tea. This cake was super easy to make and delicious. To preserve it, I stored it in an airtight container and kept it in my fridge. It keeps well in the fridge for about 3 to 4 days. I also stored some in my freezer, and all I needed to do was leave it out at room temperature to defrost, and it's as fresh as the first day. It can be kept in the freezer for up to 1 month and still maintain its freshness. I hope you found this video helpful. If you've enjoyed watching, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I guess I'll see you in my next one. Bye!